Good evening, everyone. It's been very long we did this. It's been a very long time we are doing meeting like this. So let's try and make judicious use of it. So I believe that we all have um we all have
We all
learned a
have
lot
learned a lot.
about photo about designing with Photoshop. And we have some new guys here. Temi Tope. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's nice having you here. Today we are going to start with brand identity. So we are going to be doing a bit of brand identity using Adobe Illustrator. So I don't know how I'm going to do this in this short time, but I wanted to teach you guys or show you guys around Illustrator since we've mastered Photoshop. Yeah, I like to believe that we all have mastered Photoshop. So we'll be moving into Illustrator. So I wanted to show you guys around Illustrator and how Illustrator works, and then we can do a bit of brand identity. So Illustrator basically is what I use for my logo designs. Yeah, it's what I do for my logo designs and anything relating to brand identity. Unless when I have to mock up the identity with Photoshop, but apart from that, everything happens in Illustrator. So right now I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my Illustrator screen. So we are on Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. So basically this interface is almost the same thing with Photoshop, just with um, little changes. By the left hand side, you will see the same tools you see on Photoshop, almost the same tools. They are just a bit changes. So the same selection tools, direct selection tools. You have your magic wand tool, the lasso tool, the pen tools, text tools, ellipse tool. You see your rectangle tools, polygon star, and all of it. Then on the right hand side, you see your effect panel, your gradient panel, and everything, every other toolbox you can use. You also see your layers. Yeah, it has layers just like Photoshop, but the way the layers work are not the same way that of Photoshop works. So we may not really get deep into that. Then on the top you see the same thing you see on Photoshop: file, edit, objects. Okay, I think this object is what may cause a bit confusion. Then you have your type, that's for text, select, effect, view, and the rest of them. Okay. So what we are going to be doing now is we'll be designing a simple logo. I don't really have any logo in mind to do, but we just figure something out. Okay. So the whole idea for here is the whole idea for this class is to talk about brand identity. Okay. So if um I like to say I read an article somewhere on Medium and they are trying to describe what brand identity is all about. So they said brand identity is like the features of a thing or a brand. So let's take ourselves as a human being. Our features include our nose, the eyes, our skin color, our legs, our hair. So that is what visualizes who we are as a person. Let's not talk about our attributes. Let's say we are tall, we are kind, we are wicked. So all those things are attributes of us as a person. So that's what brand identity is all about. It's just certain attributes or certain feel or certain look that you give a brand. So the number one thing that stands in front of every brand identity is obviously the logo. So from what you create out of the logo is what we can use to go extensively into every other part of the brand. So let's walk through it, and while we are learning this, we may touch other parts of brand identity. So we are going to be doing let's say we are going to be doing a restaurant. Let's say a seafood restaurant. Seafood is all about fish, I mean. Yeah, so let's say you're going to be doing a seafood restaurant. So I don't want to do a very complex logo because we've not gotten to that. We'll have to organize a different class for logo design itself. So I'll just have to do something very simple or easy. I saw someone do something like this on, I don't know whether it's YouTube or Pinterest. So let me just replicate it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I selected a rectangle. Yeah, you see my rectangle too. You can get it by clicking your letter M. So I'll draw my rectangle while holding, I'm drawing my rectangle while holding shift. So it will be a square. Yeah, so it'll be a perfect square. Okay, so once I've drawn this, I'll click here. This is my fill, and the one by the side is the stroke. So I don't need the stroke, I just need the fill. So I'll double click and I will change my fill to black. Yeah, so I have my rectangle. Of course, I'll go back to my selection tool with letter V. So I have this fill. Now, if you zoom in, you notice that inside the four corners of this shape, there are small round circles. Yeah, you can see the dots just at the edge. Now, what these dots, what they do is they turn the edges of the shape into a curve. Now, you know that this shape is pointed. Yeah, it's not a curve. So these dots turn it into a curve. So right now, if I touch any of the dots and drag, it turns the whole shape into a curve. Okay, now it turns the whole sides rather into a curve. Now this isn't what I want. Okay, I want just one to be curved. So what I do, instead of clicking and dragging, all I do is to click first, click to select just this point, and once this point is selected, I can drag. So it drags only one point. So I'll drag it all the way here. Okay, so I'll create something like this, and I'll go ahead and duplicate this. So what I'm doing is I'm dragging while holding my alternate key. Yeah, so while holding alternate key, I drag and hold down my shift key so it can drag on a straight line. So I can duplicate this. Yeah, so having made this duplicate, I think I should move it a bit further. Okay, yeah, I think it's good this way. So having made these duplicates, I'll just select the two shapes and duplicate it down again. Yeah, so I'm trying to create something that looks like a fish. I hope it comes out well. So after duplicating it that way, I'll select all of them and rotate. Yes. Okay, I think, how is it? It came out well, right? Okay, yeah, so it looks like a fish now. So just go ahead and select all of them, and I'll go here. This is called the Pathfinder. Now what this Pathfinder does is it's used to merge shapes together. Okay, you can join any shape or different kinds of shapes together, and all I just need here is to join. These are four shapes. All I want to do right now is to join the four of them together. So I can just click on the first one. It's called Unite. So what Unite does is it merges everything. Okay, so before we go on, let me just show you a few things about the Pathfinder section. So I'll just draw out, say, a rectangle here and draw out a circle here. So change the color of the circle to, let's say, pink. Yeah, so I have two shapes here. If I place this circle here, I can find a way to join these two shapes in different ways using this Pathfinder. So what the first one does is it unites them as one shape. See, what the second one does is it cuts out the one that is on top, so which is the circle. Circle automatically gets cut out. Okay, so what this one does, it intersects the one where at the point where the two shapes meet, it intercepts it. So here I think it's going to probably give us something that looks like half a circle. Okay, I was right. Then here I don't know what this one does, but let's see. Okay, it deletes the part where the intersect is made. So that's it for the Pathfinder. You can explore the rest of it. So Pathfinder finds a way to merge shapes. So I've succeeded in merging my fish and okay, yeah. So let me add something more. So I'll just have to add, let me add something that looks like a sec here. Just for fun. Doesn't really have to mean anything. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we'll have something like this. Okay, I can actually add another circle, or rather just duplicate this. Maybe change the color to white. Okay. Okay, so I'm just adding this circle here. So it serves as the eyes to the fish. I think I did something wrong right now. I hope you guys are following.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the eyes here. Okay. So we just have as the eyes, and I'll just cut this out here. So you wouldn't see the effect, but it has been cut out. So I have something like this. So this is the logo. Okay, this is the logo. Just go ahead and unite it once again. So we have something like this. So we can just add a name. What should we call it? Let's just call it Sushi Palace, something like that. So I'll take my text tool and why is it taking time? Just type. So I want it in the center. So yeah, I have this. What font should I use? Let me just use this wave house. Okay, so we have something like this. Okay. So, all right. So that is it for the logo. I just have to spread this out a bit. Let's say by 1,000, and yeah. So we've succeeded in creating a logo, a very quick and simple logo. So as I said earlier, this is the first part of building a brand identity, creating a logo. Okay. Now there is so much more to creating a logo. So let's say you are given um the task of creating a logo for this brand. You have to go through so many things. There are stages of brainstorming. There are stages of brainstorming. There are stages of research. Okay. So unlike what I just did here, I just came out and drew this logo. Behind the scenes, there must have been series of research on my part about what the logo is about or what the brand itself is about. Because before you can go into building a brand, you need to learn what the brand is about, what they stand for, what they do, what are their values, the mission, the vision, so to say. So this gives you a strong ground, and it's like your building block to designing a great identity for them. So we go through stages of brainstorming. I can stay for hours just trying to sketch a perfect logo. I will spend a couple more hours doing research and looking for ideas that fit into what they may want. Okay, so let's take this design for example. I chose to use something that looks like a fish because I mean sushi is all about fish. I think yeah, it's all about seafood. It's a seafood brand. Okay, so I think it's a seafood brand because it's a seafood brand automatically give something that relates to a fish. But in some other references, you may not really how to depict the fact that it's a seafood brand because they may like to try other things and maintain the same logo. So you may give them um, something that um, makes it possible for them to be involved in other types of businesses and not limit themselves to seafood. So that is why it's important to understand the vision or the idea behind the brand you're working with, and so that you can be able to build something that works well for them. Okay, so usually when I
Can I
get
ask a question?
yeah, go on.
Okay, like what you are saying now is that for companies, like for organizations that don't state what they want, like they don't state the kind of logo they want, you can just like brainstorm and do some research, Abby.
Yeah, but it's still essential for you to ask them the kind of logo they want.
Okay, because some companies like they state what they actually want and they want it in a particular format and stuff like that. So what my question is that in such a case, should we still like give our own idea or give what we have in mind to them? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, if you want to give them your own idea, you can go on. But if they insist on what they want, give them what they want.
Yeah, yeah. Also, right. This is a very critical situation. That's why we normally have logo forms. Okay, I think those logo forms contain a detail. I look for a logo brief form like that. It contains a detail of the brief and stuff. But there are people that already have some things figured out, just like you rightly said. And it's also your job as a designer to argue for or against this logo, how it's going to work. That's why in Po International we don't just say that you're a graphic designer, you're also a creative strategist, a brand strategist. You see through the brand to the next generation. You understand? You see through the brand, you dissect. Your job is to really do research. I normally say it all the time. You don't need to have a company to call you to design a logo or to design a brand. And that very time is when you start researching. So you must have been doing a lot of research as a brand developer or whatever, on Pinterest. You watch things, you see how some of these things go. You broaden your scope. You take up some logo projects by yourself. You try it out. Read some materials. Some materials I'll still share to the public. About branding and all that. So basically, some people have their logo, but if you leave clients, forget it, to get to tell it that this is what they want, you might end up messing your own reputation up. Okay, there's a friend of mine that last weekend I was having a call over the phone. He was talking with his client, so he invited me to share my opinion. So it happened that the client wants exactly what he drew on paper and not what can work. You get the client made a sketch of something on paper and is forcing this guy to sketch everything. So it's forcing this guy to implement everything inside that one design, implement the logo. So first of all, it wasn't geometric enough, it's just messed up. So I have to tell the client straight up, sir, this cannot work because of this and because of that. So in as much as we are trying not to deviate from your goal, we're also trying to make sure that we stay in the design part. Functionality before aesthetics. Put that in your head. Functionality before aesthetics. What the purpose is going to serve before how it looks. Do you understand? The purpose is going to serve before we talk of how it looks. So if it's not meeting the purpose, the function of whatever is going to be used for, forget it. If you like, may you bend. If you like, may you get killed, it's not going to make sense. So you do your research. Okay, I think Mims is going to talk about the area of research. He's going to go on Pinterest now and show you how to pick ideas so you can put things together and come up with a unique brand. I think the next class, or I think maybe later, he's going to edit that one. He's going to show you how he sketched some of the logos and how he brought it back to life. So for this period, we'll be looking into brands. So just get prepared. Mims, can continue, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes.
All right, so yes, clarified here. Oh. All right, so he has clarified here.
I grabbed down. Thank you.
All right, so we have to move on. Okay, but before I go on, let me.
Mims, please, I have a question.
Yeah, go on.
How do you select the right colors for a logo?
Well, there are different colors for different kind of brands. Okay, so I think, okay, let's take for example, delivery companies. They usually use colors within the range of yellow, blue, and that kind of stuff. Food companies usually go through let's say lemon, orange, and yeah, within that sphere, and so many others. But if you're confused about a color to use and you have a particular project at hand, you can just ask the person itself what kind of color they want to use. So if it's a situation where they don't have any particular color in mind, then you can go on and do whatever you want. But it's still okay for you to research. That's why it all comes down to research. You can research on different colors for different kinds of brands or different kinds of businesses and know what to choose from. You understand?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So moving on, I want to show you guys some project I posted on Behance about a month ago. So this is a brand identity for a a bus service. Yeah, I think a bus service. So this is the logo. I think I recorded a video on this. I will share it with you guys later. Okay. So this is their brand identity. So what this entails is everything about the brand, how the logo can be applied, the different colors the logo can come in, and the fonts are used in the logo. And yeah, so I also did some form of pattern for the company, the colors that are allowed for their brand, and the fonts are also used for the brand. Okay, then some bits of brand identity. Then we saw their boss, the boss design for the company, their letterhead and complimentary cards, their UI, yeah, complimentary card as well, their t-shirts and stuff. Okay, so this is just a breakdown of what we are going to learn, what we are going to do with the logo I just created. So basically, I just wanted to show you guys how to build this sort of identity for a brand, so maintain the same a particular pattern, a particular flow among the company itself. So so let's just go on. For for this, for what I just created now, I think I'll just, let's say, which color should we use for this? This is a sushi brand, so let me see if we can use two colors. I don't know if I can be able to use two colors. Okay, I don't think I can be able to use two colors because I've already joined the shapes together. I don't want to spoil it. So let's just pick one color. Let's go with blue or lemon. Okay, lemon. So I think I'll have to find the color code for lemon. Okay, got it. So I'll go with lemon. What's this? Alright, so something like this. Yeah, this is close. Okay, so what we have here is the color for the brand. I think I'll keep this in black or light ash, something not far from black. So now we have the first thing here, which is the logo itself. Okay, so we have to find ways in which this logo, other ways in which this logo can be performed, or in which these logos can be showcased. So we have to try the white first. Okay. Now it's advisable that when designing a logo, you should start off with black and white, because if a logo can work perfectly on black and white, it can work perfectly anything on anywhere or on any color. So most people just start off a logo with colors and put plenty elements, and that is bad. I will do a different class, a totally different class on logo design, and think I have it prepared already. So we'll do it. So we'll showcase this logo in different ways. This is the first one. Just show ways where this logo can work, and try to duplicate this again and see. Let's change this to ash. Change the logo to this. Yeah, okay, we have 3. So let's duplicate this again, and this time make it white. Okay, so from this design now we've clarified that the colors for this brand, it's lemon, ash, is this ash, light, dark gray, and white. Okay, so the first thing we need to do now is let's start designing the different elements for the brand. Okay, so all right, before that, let's just point out a few things that can be workable for the brand, and I'm talking about the brand colors. So I'll just go ahead and I'll draw out a shape here. I'll draw out a shape here. So I'll just let me duplicate this right here. Go to the top. Okay. Let me duplicate this. Yeah. So the first thing will be lining out are the colors. So I will draw out rectangles that will help me separate the colors. Okay. All right. So the first color here is lemon. So just pick it up. The next color here is the dark gray, obviously. Then we'll have white. I'll just give this white a stroke. Just give it a stroke so can be it can be noticeable. So a stroke, and yeah, we can use a lighter gray as well. Yeah, okay. So for this brand, these are the four main colors. So we'll reduce the size of this stroke. Okay. So for this brand, these are the four main colors that can be applied to the brand. Now this doesn't mean that you can't design with any other colors for this brand, but these four has to be the basics before any other thing flows in. Okay. Now this is to maintain consistency in the pattern of design for the brand, so that anyone that sees it knows, okay, this is it. So I should tone this down a bit for clarity. Yeah, okay. Too much. Yeah. Okay. So having stated out these colors, the next thing we need to do is create some form of elements that can be used in designing for the brand. So these elements can be patterns. Yeah, I like doing patterns a lot, so that these patterns can just flow throughout designs for the brand. So I will create a pattern using the logo. Okay. So I think I should remove this circle because it may spoil the pattern I want to create. Then I will have to find a way to flow this fish into a pattern. Let's see. Okay, let's see if this works. Yeah, okay. So let's see. This thing does not flop. Mm, okay, I think I've created a pattern with the logo. Joining the logo itself. Okay, just facing them upwards. Let's see how this comes. Mm. All right, I just grouped all of them together so I can be able to adjust them. Yeah. So let's take this as the pattern for the brand. Okay. So this pattern can be reused in different ways along the designs for the brand. Okay. So it can be applied in different ways for the brand, just to show that this is their design. Okay, let me just duplicate this here. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing we need to analyze, or the next thing we need to point out, after this is the fonts. Okay. So for the the font I use for the design is called something Wave House. Okay. I downloaded it from Creative, what's it called? Creative Market, yeah. From the Creative Market somewhere there. Okay. So we just have to take the font and we analyze the different patterns of the font and how they work. Okay, the font is here already, so I don't need to type it. So let me see. This one is the bold. Okay, putting the bold in it. So what we are doing here is just to point out what works and what does not work for the brand. Okay, there is semi bold. There is extra bold. So let me just take this up. Extra bold. So the extra bold. There's semi bold. Yeah. And then what's next? There's book. Okay, I think this should be light. Light, and the last one is thin. You just check this thing. So these are the different weights of the fonts used for the brand. So in case when you are designing anything for them, you know how to apply any of this. Now it's essential, it's really essential for you to point out this when designing a brand guide for the company or the brand itself. So yeah, so let's talk a bit about the brand guide. The brand guide is form of a document that describes every element that's been used in the brand. So stating from the logo, the colors, the fonts, the patterns, the pictures or the pattern of designs and other elements. So when designing a brand guide, you just have to list out all these things I just listed in this small design. Just that in a brand guide, it has to be elaborated. So it's essential to point out these things, even if not to the client itself, but to yourself. Because when you're designing a brand identity, everything listed here has to be repeated and repeated and repeated, because these are the basic things that represent the brand right now. So the logo, their colors, their fonts, and their pattern. So this is what will make them stand out. So let's move on. So having succeeded in creating a simple brand identity right now, okay, we've created the logo, we've pointed out colors for them and fonts for them. So let's just create other form of identities. So let's say the first thing we need to do is to create, let's say, a complimentary card. Okay, let's say a complimentary card. Mhm. Just going to do a simple complimentary card for them. Okay. This is the font. Make it this color. Oh, I don't make it right. And just take the logo to the font and yeah, and that's it. Mm. You don't have to do plenty things. Okay, maybe I can put this somewhere here. Yeah, I can put the name somewhere here, just at the corner, but not too much. Okay. So we have this is the front of the logo. Okay. Now for the back, I'll just have to apply our pattern. So let me take some parts of the pattern. Let's say this one. Okay. Okay. Let's just copy. Mm. So this is our pattern. Let's see how can we do this. Okay, maybe I don't really need the pattern. Let me see if I can play around with the logo. Yeah, sure I can. Okay, so we'll have to find a way to flip this to here plus to get sticky. The easier like to get sticky. I'm looking for a way to make sure the logo fits into the shape. So I'll just have to add my clipping mask so it can mask out the logo this way. Okay, it can also be edited when you double click inside of it. Yeah. So just want to use the logo itself, just the logo itself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is some form of creativity on its own. So we can easily type in the name of the person just right here. Say John Doe. Change the color to white, of course, and make the font bold. Now remember, everything I'm doing, every design I'm doing for them, I'm maintaining the same fonts, the same fonts. Then the same font. Let's say John Doe. Let's say he's the director. Okay. Just make this. Let's just make this font book and reduce the size, of course. Yeah. So that's it for the complementary cards. This font is supposed to be black. So yeah, so we have this and just break it down and probably say plot 2, 3, 4, blah 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 blah. And the plate and say John at sushi.com and okay. That's the basic things we need here. Just the phone number and the email. And that's it for the complimentary card. So we have a simple set of complimentary cards for them. And the next thing we need to analyze, we need to do is a letterhead. Yeah, a letterhead for them. So just draw out something here that should serve as a letterhead. Okay, so this is where my pattern will come in. Yeah, because it will work better here. Yeah, so I'll have to click this again. Now, note what I'm doing. I'm just duplicating the shape I already did. Just copy it and paste it on top of what I want to clip. Then select it together with what I want to clip and make clipping mask. Oh, yeah, something like this. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm looking for. So just double click to edit the pattern like this. And I think some part of it is off from myself. Yeah. Okay. So I think the pattern doesn't fit in well, so let me just adjust it a bit. Okay. So once we're done, now all I'm doing is just trying to show you guys how we can apply every of the elements we stated here, everything we stated here, how we can apply it throughout the design. Okay, throughout their major designs. So this is for the complementary cards. The complementary card can be as simple as just this. Okay. Just design, just in the logo, and I think we are good to go. Okay, we're just putting the logo here, and I think we're good to go. I have to draw some form of circle here. Okay, let's see if I can add it to this clip mask. So I just want to take one of the fishes here, just one, and remove the others here. So let me see if I can use it to create something here. I hope this works. Okay, no, it didn't work. Just have to draw it out myself. So I'll just want to create something like a bounding box for other information concerning the logo here, concerning the letterheads. Just here, this is good. So this is where they can fill out the company details. Maybe I could just copy this. Just copy this.
Okay, Mims, please, can you go over how you are able to clip mask, make things cut through this? I know a lot of people don't understand how it's happening and how you're able to assess what you placed inside to be able to, adjust it. So I think you have to do a little bit of that. So, like, show us how you're able to cut the things that are outside into this stuff. How is that working for you?
Okay. I think I explained it here, but let me go over it again. So what clip mask does is trying to fit in shapes or elements into another shape. So let's say let's use the logo. Let's say I drag this logo out here and I draw a rectangle above it, change the color to this. Okay. So I want this rectangle to be inside. I want this logo to be inside of the rectangle. Now it's already inside, but some part of it is outside of it. So all I have to do is clip mask. Now, if I clip mask the two right here, there will be space. There will be some part of it to be out. Let me show you. Let's say I clip mask this right now. So all I have to do is right click. If I select both of them, I right click and make a clip mask. You see here, make a clipping mask. So if I do a clipping mask, it's inside, but the rest of the rectangle, it's no longer available or is out. Okay. So to accomplish it and make the rectangle still available, I have to duplicate the rectangle itself. So I just Control C to copy, Control C to copy. To do here, go Control C, copy, and Control V to paste. So it pastes on top. So all I just have to do is to fit the one on top together with the one below, find a way to make it fit. So now after selecting the one on top, after fitting the one on top, I'll hold my shift to select the logo itself. And once the logo is selected, I can make clipping mask just like this. Yeah. So now it's inside of the other one. So to edit what's inside the mask. I just double click on it, and it shows you something like this. So you click on the logo and you can drag it in or rotate or play around it the way you want, and it just works. Okay, so that's it for clipping mask. So I use this mask clipping a lot. I use it a lot to fit in elements into shapes without having to have them around the edges or around everywhere. So hope everyone is clarified on that. All right, so moving forward, we've just finished the letterhead and just trying to keep everything simple as possible here. Okay, so what other stuff is needed in a brand identity? What other stuff? Catch what other stuff? Okay.
ID card, ID card. You can do an ID card. ID card. Stop. Sorry.
Okay, let me just let me conclude with this. Okay, so you said someone said something, sorry.
I said ID card, ID card.
Okay,
Like company ID card.
let's do the ID card. The ID card would be the last one. So I just say ID card front. So the ID card, draw out somebody's face. Okay. Which person face we will put here? So let's use this man's name again.
You don't need person's face.
Let's use this man's name again. I don't know who John Doe is. All right. So this is the ID card. Let's just find a way to fit in the logo. Just find a way to fit in the logo. Okay. Is this thing nice like this? I think it's too big. Okay, can we get to that point? Yeah.
I have a question, please.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, how do you get the accurate measurement for a particular ID card?
Okay, don't worry. Once I'm done with the design, Dr. Po is going to throw light on the sizes for each of these elements, okay? And the rest of other stuff. So I just want to show you how to play around with the designs. So he will not throw more light on the sizes for the branding element itself, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so
thank you.
All right. So this fish, you don't want to stay in the perfect place. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's make the clip mask again. So once it's in the mask, I can find the way to adjust it. Yeah. Okay. So this can serve as a complementary card. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Yeah. All right, so this is it for the complementary card. Can do something at the back. That could just be lemon with the logo itself. Okay. All right, so this is it. There are so many other things that can go on for a brand. We can design, let's say, delivery buses, or design t-shirts, or design envelopes and correspondence cards for them, and cover letters as well. Okay, but basically, the idea is to find a way to correlate everything together. If you take a look at this this little brand I've created here, you notice that every element has a correlation with the other. The complementary cards have one or two things that makes it similar to the letterhead, that also makes it similar to the ID cards, and all of them still bounce back to the logo itself. And that's just what I wanted to point out. Find a way and create a certain identity where each of the elements flow together and interact with each other. So this way you are building a strong identity for the brand, so that once anyone sees them anywhere, sees the brand anywhere, they know, yeah, this is these guys. Okay. So once anyone sees this card or sees this funny looking fish, they know, yes, this is Sushi Palace. And that's all we intend to achieve in building a brand identity, to create something that is unique. Okay. So, and in subsequent class, we are going to dive deep into how to create a logo. So I just created this. I didn't really think about it, but in making a logo, there is process of research, lots of research. There is brainstorming, there is sketching. I draw out most of my logos. I spend time to draw the logos first. So there is sketching, there is before you start implementing it. So in our next class, actually, we are going to dive deep into logo designing and take our time to analyze step by step procedures of designing a logo. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Poe. He's working on a particular brand right now, so he's going to use them to show you guys further ways to implement brand identity stuff. Catch you ready? All right, so he will continue from here.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, you.
Yeah, so can I ask a question?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, anyone that has a question should go and ask now before I hand it.
Okay, so what if you want to do something like a gradient color for there? How will you do it? Like I've noticed, like I don't know, this Illustrator, the way the app is designed is quite different from the way Photoshop is designed. Like picking colors, I don't know if
Yeah.
this like in Photoshop we can use, once you want to get a particular color for a particular shape or something. Once you click the color, you can, there's automatically, you see this eyedropper tool that you can use to get color from. But here, I don't know why. So I don't know, how will you get, for example, when you are doing gradient stuff?
Okay. Mazi.
Sure.
All right, Mazi. Illustrator is actually tricky, like very, very tricky. So I think I'll just show you how. I'll just show you how before Kachi takes over, before Dr. Poe takes over. So using gradients in Illustrator, I think I'll have to do a separate class on where we learn basic things about Illustrator. Okay, but for now, let me apply a gradient to this shape. So look at your gradient to here. Can you see it? It's right here.
Yes.
It's gradient.
Yes.
So
Okay.
the confusing thing about gradients, or yeah, about gradients actually in Photoshop, in Illustrator, is the way the color palettes are arranged in Illustrator is different. I would say totally different from the way it is in Photoshop. So I think that's why it confuses most people. Now I can add my gradient from here. I can also add it from here, from the toolbox. Or okay, let's just go from here. I can select my gradient to here and draw a gradient here, and don't know why it's not working. It's supposed to work. Okay, it's not working. So let's just go with the first option. So I'll select here. So this thing has just three types
The
of
gradient.
gradient. Yeah, but I normally go with the first one so I can play around with it. So once I select this one, you can look at your node. It's just like Photoshop. Click on any node and change the colors. The only issue is the way the color palettes are arranged are confusing. Okay, instead of picking the colors the way you pick it normally, you just have to play around with this RGB curves, RGB sliders. You can pick a color from here. So we are still going with our lemon, and you can also pick a color actually. I can pick this here for this place. Okay, so let's say I want to create a darker shade of this. I can select this and also pick the same color. Then double clicking here, I can create a darker shade somewhere here. Let me see if I can actually. This RGB slider is confusing itself too. Okay, so once you're on the gradient itself, this stuff comes out. So I can arrange how I want my gradients to be. Yeah, let's rotate this 90 degrees and see. Okay, take this forward. Yeah. So just the same way you use it in Photoshop, you just have to find a way to adjust it. I can add another node here. Okay, so just the same way you add nodes in Photoshop and apply different colors to the middle, you can also add nodes here in Illustrator. But basically, this is where it works. So if you can master a way to select colors using those RGB sliders, then you're okay. Okay, there's another way actually. I can select this node and double click here on this field to bring up this part. I think this is what works better for you guys. Okay, yeah. So this can help you as well. Okay, so I can double click here and double click here and select my field from this instead of the other one. Yeah, I think Maz, I think you'll find it will be better for you to use this one than playing around those RGB sliders. So once you select a
Okay.
node here, you double click on
Yeah.
the field. Okay, it brings up this stuff here. So you can adjust your colors any way you want. So
Okay, sir.
that's it for gradient. So you can make your changes. So Kachi, are you ready? All right. So let me hand over to him so we can continue from there. Any more questions before I move on? All right, let's move on. Yeah, carry on.
Hmm.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Mims have done a good job with that. So I want to show you people just okay. He's still going to do that, but this part is more like where I'm trying to do my logo presentation. Okay. This is the same company but different ideas I'm trying to propose. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then, but before
Yeah.
then, something like this was happening. Did you see it?
Yes.
What does this mean? What does it mean to you?
I think it's like the place you make your decisions on
Very
what.
good. So you're right. Now, when you see some mesh, you see some mesh around this thing. Actually, they are called grids, okay?
Yeah.
And but that's by the way. Um, what I want to talk about quickly is how you make the choice of your text size in proportion to the logo size. So which there's no certain rule, like there's no rule that says this is how you do it. But if we choose to go a little bit more proportional about it, like Mims, Mims is already a pro, so you might not need to go through all that. So me, I didn't take all those process, but there are certain ways you can pick, especially the gaps between. I hope you can see the line. These are just tiny details you just need to pay attention to when you are presenting your logo, when you are making your final decision. Are you with me? So
Yeah.
now look very well. You see that the base of my logo is on a certain plane. Do you see?
Yeah.
It's on a plane right here. So then I can decide to choose the space between this by just counting how many I want or how many spaces are here, 3.5. I can double it, 1.5, I can double it. It gives me 1, 2, 3. So I'll start. So just check the latest here is 1.5 as well, 1.5 spaces. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So I can pick it and double it. So it should be one half plus half should give you 3, right? 1.5 plus 1.5 should give you 3. 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
So I can just let it start from here. You get?
Yes, sir.
So that's just on placement. Then for this other sides and proportion, I think I took my decision based on the distance between the entire logo. Assuming I put the logo, so you don't just like, so you don't get confused or trying to place your logo based on so you just have to still make decisions based on proportion. So your text will not be bigger than your logo, and your logo will not be bigger than your text. I mean, their proportion, not like it's not really bigger, but proportion wise. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Based on proportion, it's not that your head is smaller than your body. If you've seen somebody that his head is so small and the body is so big, you know, it's gonna look very funny. You understand what I'm saying? So, but even if the head is small, you notice that people that have small head normally have smaller body. Although the body and the head are not the same size, but in proportion they are the same size. So just as seeing somebody that has a big head with a very small body, you get. So I wanted to view your placement like that. So you see the equal space that you have here, that I have here. Sorry, let me delete this grid. Let me take this grid away. Is the equal space that you have here as well. Did you see it? Did you see this? Are you seeing? Are you seeing the blue line?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing the
Yeah.
blue line?
Yes, sir.
So this guides you. These things are very critical issues because you are the decision maker of a startup brand. That's a brand, a business that want to start up now, and they call you to create a brand. You are the decision maker of the brand. I don't mean of the business. I'm talking of the brand. So whatever you call this brand today is what it will answer for at least the next 7 years. So you don't have to blow it. So now you see how it looks here, kind of professional. Now, somebody was asking. Now, as the material is sent in the group, favor find a way and share that group to the second group. Okay, if the material is shared there, then if the logo has to be side by side, normally we normally use, a square maybe to just take a rectangle, take the size of the logo. Hope you can hear me. This is still Illustrator. Okay, take the size of the logo. Okay,
Yeah.
are you there? Then
Yeah.
I'll duplicate this, just any size I want, just any size I want. I'll get it and duplicate it into 3 or 4, as the case may be. So this duplication, right? Are you with me? I'll just stretch it to touch the bottom line. So I can decide to place my logo at the first bus stop, my logo, the name at the first bus stop, okay, or at the last bus stop. Do you get? But
Yeah.
not here. So I can decide to put it at the center of that thing I did, or at the bottom of the same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So you see, you don't just place, things, you understand? So the space between this can just be the space between here, can still be the space between here. So you can just push it in a little bit. So maybe in future tense, because me, I didn't do all that. But if you are just starting out, so that you have the proportion in your mind, you get, you have to, do it. You have to start with it. So you get used to the proportion of the logo. You get what I'm saying? Then talking about sizes, there's a material I sent. Now there's no specific size for anything. So all you just need to do is to check that material I sent. There's a place you see sizes of documents. Okay. And some of the things names have also talked about. So sizes of documents, your A4 letterhead. Letterhead is normally on A4, right? Right?
Yeah.
Letterhead is normally on A4.
Yeah.
And commentary card is usually on 2.2 by 3.5. I think on inches. I don't know for millimeters. You can do that calculation yourself. So I think if you have issues with that, that's not really an issue at all. You can go on Google and find the exact size of what you want. I think last time I checked the size of a frame, Google tried to give me the size of that frame in respect to a human being that is standing. You get? So, and what other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, Mims have talked about color codes. I've talked about font sizes. I've talked about the size of design layouts. Complementary card ID cards. I think they almost have the same. They almost have the same thing. Logo. Then I think in subsequent time he's going to do justice to some other aspects of Illustrator. But for now, I think this is good, and we are going to give you guys, something to do so that I'll be sure you have a good understanding of what was done. So you just create a brand identity, just like you did, because we are still going to go into detail of that. There are a lot more detail, and if you didn't take anything away, I want you to take this thing away. Okay, you notice how consistent everything he used were. Brand is about consistency, and the use. You get what I'm saying? Consistency and the use of what you're. So people should look at a logo, or people should look at a brand, both the color and interaction with the color, interaction with the pictures, because branding also entails using of pictures, right? When you take a closer look, we're going to analyze a brand. Maybe you take a Coca-Cola brand because that's the most organized brand for now, and there are some other brands. When you take a photo, um, you see Coca-Cola pictures, they have a certain filter on it, something reddish. They have a reddish filter. I don't know if anybody have noticed it. I have some kind of reddish filter on it. Um, you know, and so on and so forth. So down to the pictures and the usage, down to their logo and where you put their logo and where not to put their logo. I think these are the more details that you see on the brand guide, as the case may be. Sorry. Um, okay, so I think we can just create. I think between now and Saturday, we should be able to create a logo and a brand identity like Mims just did. If you do not know the exact size of your artboard, you can just assume those are still artboards. Okay, you can just assume those sizes. It's cool to assume those sizes. But if you want to create a new document because those are, you just did it on a plane so you can see what it looks like. But if you want to do it for real, you have to create individual documents for them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're doing ID card, you have to create, so you don't make your system to lag or something like that. So there are already presets here for A4 like added paper. And if you have to do ID cards, you can put it in inches or whatever here and create the documents, either portrait or landscape, and create the document. You can also do all this on Photoshop if you want to. You get, so just export your file. I think for now, what you guys are going to do is that you guys are going to save the Illustrator file. Don't export. We need the Illustrator file the way it is. So you just save it in Illustrator and send, so we can do a critique on it in real time. All right. I think that's pretty all for now. And I hope we learned something, even if you don't have a full knowledge, but you've been challenged to believe that branding is beyond creating a logo.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to do a lot of thinking. You see, when I say I don't work with graphic designers, you understand what I mean now.
Yes, ma'am.
For the guys that I speak that to a lot, it sounds as though I'm being proud, or I don't know how it used to sound, but you can see there's a lot to do. So there's no brand, there's no brand that is going to move a step from zero to wherever they want to get to, that a designer that is creatively smart, and not just creative, that knows his onions in branding and strategy, that will not, so that's the only way you sell to big brands. You don't sell to big brands by bringing in flyers. Coca-Cola calls you to do a brand for your new product, and you're telling them how you designed church flyers. Okay, you're showing them stuff, which is, they are very good, but but what we are heading to is where, even if you are told to design a church flyer, you will demand for the church brand guide. Like the church I respect so much, House on the Rock, they have a brand guide. Okay, when I joined House on the Rock in Abuja here, before I came to Abuja, Apas already sent us the brand guide for House on the Rock. There is a way you don't use their logos. There are way you use their logos. There's some pictures you don't use. There are pictures you don't use. Their designs are utmostly simple. It's in the brand guide. They will show you how you design. Although it won't hamper your creativity, but the elements of the design has to be clear. So if you see any House on the Rock design, I mean the bigger ones that have those respect and obey those rules, it stands out. It stands out. Sorry, you get it. So those churches that have brands. So you can as well even make more money for yourself by giving a pastor an opinion. What do you think about your church in the next 5 years? You can start creating a brand guide for your church. Start creating a brand for your church. Overhaul their logo, create a pattern for them. See, this is what ushers should wear. This is so you are by the end of the day a business planner, because you understand the let me call it both the anatomy and the architecture of every brand, because branding is about visual. It's about what we can see and about the impression you're about to make in our lives, as the case may be. So I believe this is simple enough, and there's still more to come. So we don't want to exceed 2 hours, and we're here. So any more questions you can ask, so we can proceed. I think we can go and sleep for people that want to sleep. People that want to sleep, who can now pack chairs that we'll use for the event. All right? We are good, right?
Yeah.
Have we slept?
No.
We are awake. We're packing chairs.
Okay. All right. I think this video will be edited as well and uploaded as the case may be. So, but if you're not here, you're not here. That's the truth. So you meet us on YouTube. So for the people that are here, I need you guys to submit your assignments. Maybe if you need to rewatch the video by tomorrow evening or next tomorrow morning, the video should be on YouTube. So you get the link and rewatch it. But if you're already there, create a little brand, create any shape of your choice, use anything. You can just play around things, come up with a logo, give it a name, and use a font that has family. Use a font that has family, okay? So
Okay.
you can get those fonts in Mims is going to drop the links so where you can get font that has family, and it has to be sans serif font. For now, let's use fonts that are clear to read, fonts like what I'm using now, easy to read and clear, straight to the point, like what he did. So that's pretty well. So Saturday, you guys will fix the time where we meet again, then we'll do the critique. But we'll like the logo and everything to come in by Friday, so we can look at them and do our critique as the case may be. Yeah. So any other clarification, you can always go back to the YouTube channel. I think we've done a lot of basics on the YouTube channel. You can check things out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. All right. So we'll call it a meeting, right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night.
Yeah.